Well, hello, my friend. It's me, Stu, here for you. And oh my goodness, do we have a doozy of a interview here for you. Listen, I want you to imagine this. Imagine that you have an idea for a membership site, an idea in which you can deliver your content to be able to serve and help a whole lot of people. But there's also a part of the reason that you're wanting to do this is to give yourself a little more free time, a time where you are in more control of it. And then imagine that little idea, it gets launched and people start joining the membership. I mean, that would be amazing, right? And then imagine that membership just continues to create more and more momentum. And then imagine in a 2-year period crossing a major milestone. Well, we're going to talk to somebody who has done just that. Help me welcome the one and only Christy Hawkins. How are you, Christy?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Well, listen, I am so pumped and excited because you just recently crossed a major milestone. So let's just start off and just give the punchline of what that major milestone is. What major milestone did you just cross?
We just crossed the milestone of having $1 million membership.
Woo! $1 million membership. And this is within a, 2 and a bit year period?
Yep. Yeah, just 2.5 years.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So we're going to unpack this because I guarantee you there's a lot of lessons learned in this, but let's go back to the moment when you had the idea for the membership. Talk to me about where you were at and what you were thinking then.
Okay, so I own the Social Easel and I teach women how to paint, and I've been an artist my whole life. And at the time of starting the membership, I had a local mobile paint business. So I went into restaurants, set up 40 to 50 women in a room and taught them how to paint. And I had done that for 5 years at the time when I found Stu and found Tribe and started my membership. And my goal in doing this was, I have 3 daughters and one is 17. I have her for 1 more year, which is freaking me out. Kylie's 17, Emma's 14, and Sophie turns 10 this week. And when I had that paint party business, it wasn't so bad when they were younger and I could be gone a few nights a week and it was fine. But then the older they got, the more activities they had, and I was missing things and I was resenting it, and I wasn't cooking my family dinner. I wasn't getting to take them to volleyball practices. I was missing school games, and it was making me mad. It was like the point in me having this job was to provide for our family, but for me to be with my family, to make our lives better. And it was taking me away from them instead of putting me with them. And I just was like, something's got to change. And I thought, I could take the idea of teaching people in person and I can teach people online. Like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I can figure it out and I can buy the things and I can get the camera, and I can teach people online. And so I started, I launched in April of 2018. And I had no audience except for those who were my local paint ladies who painted with me.
This was a local audience, right? Like you hadn't been building an online audience. This was a local audience.
Yeah, I had a Facebook page, I believe. I only had about 10,000 followers at that time, and they were all local. Like no one knew me outside of Springfield or maybe Branson, like around here. And so they were my guinea pigs. I told them, I was like, this is my idea. I'm going to start this membership. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I know I can teach you how to paint. So do you guys want to try this with me? And I think we had, I want to say around like 67 or 69 women sign up when I offered it at the beginning. So
let's talk about this because, again, I want to unpack a couple things. Number one, your reason for wanting to do this was you were there was tension between like what you were doing, at night because it was taking you away from the very thing that you wanted to do, which was spend more time with your family and your kids. And you had a local business where you were teaching paint parties. And so you started the idea of a membership and offering it to those people locally who had been joining you for these paint parties. And that first founding member launch, you said you welcomed right around, was it 67 members?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Okay. So you welcome those 67 members. Then like what happens? Like, take us from that point forward.
Well, we kind of laugh about this because I like to send Stu updates along my whole journey.
I love the updates. The updates are like my most favorite thing in the entire world. And there's a group of tribers who send me updates, which I think you just secretly know, like it instantly makes my day. And so I love my Christy Hawkins updates.
So y'all, it did not come fast. It was a slow build and a slow journey that first year and a half, honestly, almost the first full 2 years. I mean, I'll say year and a half because I was able to replace my local income, but I'm pulling up my numbers so that I try to keep it accurate for you guys because like I said, I started in April of 2018. In September of 2018 is when I did my first official launch. Got it. From April to September, I started doing Facebook Lives, which made me really uncomfortable. And I was terrible when I started trying to build my audience online and get in front of more people outside of Springfield. And so I launched again in September. And hold on, I'm just...
Well, while you're doing that, I'll kind of share with everybody because this is common, right? Like in that first year, you're getting your grounding. Like, and this is one of the things that I always love to help create some perspective for people is that like that first year of the membership, it's never going to be perfect, right? Like people get so twisted up and worried about like, oh, the membership has got to be perfect before I launch. No, you're figuring stuff out in that first year. Like, this is why, like, one of the best things that you can do is to get going, because then what it does is it gives you time to learn about your members, learn how to show up for your members, learn how to market and position the membership. And this is really what was happening for you in that first year, right, Christy?
Yeah. And I would just encourage people to... I always say, like, I'm the kind of girl, I'll just throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. Like, I do not worry about it being perfect. And like, I'm still like that. Like, if you guys ever follow me on Facebook, like I mess up when I'm talking and I may mess up a painting and like, you get the real me and it's just going to be real and authentic. And that's just how it is. And I don't worry about trying to have it perfect. And my members are still like this. It's a growing process. I'm constantly getting feedback from them. What do you like? What do you not like? What do you want more of? Did you guys like it when I did it this way? Or do you like it that way more? They, especially that first group of women in that first year, they helped me mold my membership into what it has become today. And it is completely evolved. It is completely different where it is going into year 3 than where it was in the beginning.
So from April, you launched your founding member launch and welcomed 67 members. And then from April to September of that first year, you're getting comfortable yourself. And then you did another launch in September. Do you roughly know how many members you welcomed then?
I want to say at the end of 2018 in that September launch, because I didn't launch again after that, I was only at like 120 members. I can really remember in 2019, this is always the number that sticks in my head because it was like a moment with my dad. We were on a family vacation and his mind is just boggled by this whole online world that I live in and how it all works. And I remember talking to him and my uncle and he was like, Christy has a painting membership and she has 189 women who pay her every month to paint with her. And my uncle
which is amazing.
That was in June of 2019.
Okay, so fast forward, you had almost just over a year. You had 189 members. So in that first year, you went from 67 members to roughly 120 to at the roughly just over a year, 189 members. So I love this because I want to show people the trajectory of your growth. And so you're, during that time, I mean, in that first year, you had almost tripled the membership, which again, I want to emphasize for everybody, like, this, you just keep doing the things that work, just, double down on the things that work. But what was fun was, going from June of 2019 to January of 2020, I remember getting a message from you. See, I remember my Christy Hawkins messages, but I remember getting a message from you because you were on cloud nine in January of 2020. Talk to us about what had happened then.
January of 2020, I had hit 400 members. And so that meant I had doubled my membership. I couldn't believe I had hit 400 members, and I had completely replaced my income and then some. Gosh, I can't believe that was like only a year ago. That's insane, right? Yeah.
Well,
that was a year ago.
I know.
And we were at 400 members, and I was like thrilled, and I couldn't believe it. And I didn't have to do local paint nights anymore. And, you know, we had extra income. I was able to spend more time with the kids. We were able to take vacations. Like, everything was coming together, and it was just good. It was where I wanted the membership to be. And, I loved our group, and I loved what we were doing and what it was bringing to people. And, that was January 2020.
You were getting into a groove. You were getting into a groove as far as the content in the membership. You were getting into a groove as far as like your marketing and your messaging. And as we had just stated here, you had doubled the membership in around a 6-month period, which is pretty phenomenal. Like that's pretty remarkable. And I remember the energy that I got from that message that you sent, which was just like, you were on a roll. It was like cloud nine, you were on a roll. And then COVID hits. So like when COVID hits, what goes through your mind?
Okay, that was so crazy. So I always launch in March, and I had just finished launching. The day I ended my launch, the next day is when the world shut down. I had just welcomed in, and by the way, like that launch was insane. In March, I went from 400 to 850 women. Again, I had doubled my membership from September to March, and I was at 850 women, and I was like, what is going on? This is crazy. And then COVID hit. And what I found in that time was that this sounds crazy, but it actually helped my business. Initially, yes, it was like scary and crazy, and we had members drop because they were scared. None of us knew what to expect. They didn't know what their income was going to do. And so we had some dropouts. But the weird thing is that people were asking me to also get back in because they're like, now I'm home. Now I have money and I have time, and I've always wanted to know how to paint. And now I have nothing else to do. I can't work. I can't go anywhere. And so people were coming into membership. But I actually, in that process, started a second membership. And this is something that I had on the back burner. I had wanted to do it for over a year, but I was scared. I was scared it was going to affect my current membership. Like, what if I offer this and then it ruins this? And I hesitated and hesitated. But when COVID hit, my current membership, my VIP membership, is $47 a month. And I wanted to offer something to those people who still wanted to paint with me, but didn't want that much a month. And so I came up with the Painting of the Month Club, and we launched it in May of 2020, and it was $20 a month. So for $20 a month, they got one painting with me that was delivered to their membership hub. So now I had two memberships. I had my VIP level, which is my main one. It's called Christy's Inner Tribe. And that's where they get me in a private Facebook group and 3 paintings and all the things. But for women who couldn't do that, I did the Painting of the Month Club. So that happened in the process of COVID. Okay,
so I want to unpack this a little bit because I think there's a couple big juicy nuggets there. One, many times we think that with COVID shutting down, that therefore everybody's going to shut down. But I think one of the things that you just emphasized, which is really important, and we've seen this across the board, is that now it's given people more time to focus on the things that they want to do and the hobbies and the skills that they want to learn. And so we've actually seen a boom in memberships during this time, which is a huge plus for those of us obviously in the membership world, and or very encouraging for those who are thinking about entering the membership world. But the other side of this that I love is that you expanded the market even more by offering a lower price membership, an entry level membership, so to speak. And I love the fact that you talked about your hesitations. Why? Because you were concerned about it potentially cannibalizing your, $47 a month, which I think is a valid concern. But the other thing that I would encourage people here is that, like, you had a very well-established membership. You'd already 850 plus members before you considered a second membership. And I think that's really important because you had gotten your feet underneath you on the first one before launching the second one. But then talk to us about what happens. You launched this second membership, like, in May of 2020. How many people did you end up welcoming to that?
In our opening launch, we had almost 350 women join in May of 2020, just with my initial, like, I'm throwing this out there, you guys, here's what I'm doing. And we had 350 women sign up.
Wow. So 350 women in a brand new membership, plus you got your existing, membership, your VIP membership at $47 a month. What's going through your mind at this point?
I don't even know. I don't even know. Like, whose life am I living and what is happening? And that was like the exact 2 years into this business. This online business was at 2 years. And I did want to say that too, to Stu's point. Don't be trying to do 2 memberships at the beginning. I had my feet solid. It was at 2 years in after that membership that I started the second one. I don't know. I just couldn't believe it. I think I was kind of in a state of shock, which is usually the texts that Stu will get from me. Like, I don't know what's happening right now.
Well, it was just an amazing moment because, again, in a time of tremendous uncertainty, you were actually creating more and more certainty in your business as you were, continuing to grow your VIP membership and simultaneously growing this entry-level membership. So talk to us about, like, fast forward, through the rest of the year. You sent me an amazing message just a little bit ago that you had crossed the major milestone of now having $1 million membership. So talk to us about, like, how the rest of the year has gone.
Yeah, it's just been crazy. Like I said, I did want to mention too, during that scary time of COVID, my husband's a chiropractor and, like, everything closed down. Having that and starting that second membership and building my VIP to where it was allowed us to not be terrified. It gave us that security that you talked about. Corey didn't work for almost a month. And I mean, that was a huge part of our income. He runs 2 chiropractic offices in 2 different cities, and he didn't work at all. And that gave us some much needed security that, you guys, if I wouldn't have done this and I was still teaching paint parties and had not positioned myself and moved myself online, I don't know what would have happened to us. Like, I don't.
Well, I appreciate you saying that because I do think that, when people hear me talk about the predictability and the stability of, that recurring revenue, it's like, yeah, that's nice to have. But no. Like, it shows up in a big, significant way when you need it most. This was a time when you guys needed it most. Like, I couldn't imagine, your husband, chiropractic business coming to a screeching halt for, a whole entire month. Like, that could be devastating for a lot of people. But again, as you said, this bridged that gap, which this is why I love memberships. This is why I love memberships.
I'm telling y'all, if you don't have one, you need to find one and start it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so from there, the next 6 months of that year were just pure insanity. I did open my tribe back up during COVID because I was getting so many messages for people wanting to join. Normally I would not do that. I only open it twice a year, but this year was different, right? So I had more members join, and we stayed at about the 850, 900 level. And then I launched again in September. And then the Painting of the Month Club, I came up with a new painting each month. We only kind of launched that. It just was ongoing, but like a new thing was released each month. So there was still kind of like the hype up, like, here's the new painting. We saw that grow from 350 women to 600 women by the end of summer. And we stayed at about 600 to 650 for about 3 months, from September, October, November. At the beginning of November, the second membership had about 650 members. And my VIP membership had about 900 members.
Wow. I'm just putting this, I'm just writing it down because it's like, it's so amazing to see the growth, and to see what's possible. And this is really why I was just so excited to talk to you today because, oftentimes we hear about people's initial launches, but we don't hear about the journey of what happens thereafter. And this is why I just encourage people just to stay with it, like to stay, keep moving forward in this, because as you can see, like in the way that you have been growing the membership, like you've been making huge leaps and you're on that, like, that upward trajectory now, which is so incredibly exciting. And so talk to me about like what's going through your mind now as you are continuing to grow these 2 memberships.
So in September, this is my big month. Like March is my initial launch, but September for creatives, going into the 4th quarter, this is our season. This is when people are doing all the holidays, right? And they want paintings for those holidays. And you gotta be on it. You gotta be coming up with your ideas and you gotta be ready for your audience. And so I was ready. And we had worked, again, tweaking this membership, tweaking my marketing, my lives, what I'm offering, what am I giving? I started a blog. I have a huge blog now that people can go to for painting tips that we really solidified in 2020. I was doing all my Pinterest, all these things to give to my audience, to give them painting tips, all to get to my September launch. We put a ton of money and effort into this. And I did a challenge. I do painting challenges before I open my membership. And I came up with a fall flowers in a vase. It was like this black and white vase with all these crazy funky flowers in it. It was called the Funky Flowers Challenge. And we had 3,300 women sign up for that challenge.
Wow.
My last challenge that I did, I had 500 women sign up for it.
So was this a free challenge?
It was a $10 challenge.
Got it. And
so, from a marketing standpoint, I used that money that I made from that challenge and I put that into Facebook ads for my launch. And so then I opened cart. And it was the most, I didn't even know what was happening. We brought in 400 women in the first 24 hours.
Wow. And okay, hold on. I got to pump the brakes. So 3,300 people who joined your $10 challenge. Do you remember what it was costing you per person to get into that challenge?
In the beginning, we were around like $6 or $7 per person. So yeah. I was still, making, the money back on that. And then I think by the end of it had gotten to like right at like $9.
And so, which is amazing because you're getting paid to be able to generate high quality leads. And it's like there's no limit to your marketing budget at that point, which is, ultimately what we all want to get to. And then you roll into your launch. Now, was the launch for your $47 or for your $20 membership?
It was for my $47 one. So I only opened that one twice a year. And this was the big launch for that one.
And so you welcome 400 members in the first 24 hours. What did you end that launch with?
We welcomed 1,222 new members in my September launch. And I started the year with 400 members.
Okay. Everybody just take a deep breath right now. I just want you to soak this in. Like, this is a perfect example of like how in the beginning, it's all about nailing your messaging, nailing like the market in terms of who you're serving, and nailing the membership experience. Then as you continue to progress, you get better and better at your marketing because those things are dialed in. And this is what I want to emphasize. Like you've just gotten better and better and better at really nailing the messaging and your marketing. And so the challenge is a perfect example of that. You said before you would do a challenge and you'd welcome 500 members. This challenge, you were welcoming 3,300 people into the challenge, which naturally then led into the offer for the membership, welcoming 1,222 new members. Like, gang, pump the brakes. 400 at the beginning of the year. And in this one promotion, she's welcomed more than 1,200 new members. That's incredible.
And you know what? Yeah, okay. No, that's all right. I'm like, wait a second, those numbers don't make sense because I was at more than that. My goal was to, at that point, this was not my initial goal. And then like they just started coming in and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is happening right now? So my goal was to hit 2,000 members in that launch. And I texted Stu and I was like, I didn't hit the 2,000. We hit 1968.
That's just unbelievable. Just unbelievable. Which I just want to, I've told you this in private so many times, but I'm so stinking proud of you because, listen, a membership, we're always on the journey of figuring stuff out. And the thing that I just love is something you referred to earlier is you just kept moving forward. Like you kept trying different things. You kept moving. Sometimes things didn't work. And it was like, okay, that doesn't work. We'll try something else. But you didn't let it deter you. You just kept moving forward. And my friends, this is what the entrepreneurial journey is all about. Like it's about, trying different things, experimenting, and then identifying what's working and doing more of that. Like Stu Rule 101, do more of what works, less of what doesn't. And now you're getting it dialed in and things are skyrocketing and really taking off for you. How has this changed for you? How has life changed for you with all this? So I'm on a girls trip right now with my other creative business friends. And this is part of how my life has changed is that I'm working on a beach right now with my best friends that we've done this journey together. And it's allowed us the ability to be able to do something like this. But it's obviously our life at home is completely different. And we've been able to make home renovations and we've added on to the back of our house. And we even in the midst of this crazy year where we are, and we have been fortunate enough to still be able to travel and do things in a safe way. And it's allowed us so much time together as a family, opportunities that we can give our kids. We're putting in a pool in the backyard. These are like dreams that I had like in 5 years and, in some time we'll save the money and be able to do this. And for me, my oldest, like I said, she turned 17 and I have about a year and a half left with her. And we wanted to be able to do this so bad. We wanted to be able to put the pool in. We want to be able to have her graduation party at our house. We want to be able to host all her friends. We want to be the house they want to come to and keep the kids there and keep them coming home when she goes to college. All the things. And that she can pick what college she wants to go to and we can make that happen for her. I'm so stoked for you, buddy. And to think that all of this happened in the midst of the world's worst pandemic in more than 100 years. Like it's about perspective. Like it's so crazy in terms of what can be possible, especially when you believe in that it's possible and that you just keep moving forward. And it's just so fun to see that lifespan of, 2.5 years, coming up on 3 years in April, to see where it started, where it was after the first year, 189 members, January of this year at 400 members. And then fast forward to today, more than 1,900 members in one of your memberships. And how many are in the other $20 membership?
Okay, so that was the other crazy thing that happened. I told you fourth quarter is big for creatives. I painted a Santa Claus and a snowman, and they completely put our painting of the month club membership to a whole nother level. And we have over 1,100 women in my painting of the month club membership. And I started that in May. I went from 0 to 1,100 people in a second membership that I almost didn't start because of fear.
Wow. Buddy, what a year. What would you say to somebody who maybe has in year one of their membership, like you were, a little while ago, or somebody who's thinking about their membership, like, what have you learned through this journey?
Oh gosh, so much. One, you have to move past fear. Fear is paralyzing. And, I tell my ladies in my group, it's honestly the same with business as it is with painting. Fear will paralyze you. It will paralyze you if you're looking at a blank canvas. It'll paralyze you if you're looking at a business idea and you're scared. Mm-hmm. You have to move past that. And the only way to move past that is to take action. You have to take action. The second you take action, the fear goes away, because that's all Satan anyways. So that is not of God, and that is not what is driving you. That is what is stopping you. You have to move past that. You have to take risks. You have to take chances, and it's okay to fail. Like, fail more. The more you fail, the better you're going to be. Heidi and I just did a Facebook Live together. Heidi's another triber, and we affiliate for each other. We're partners, and we just did Facebook Live on our pages, and we're both like, fail all the time. Like, the more you fail, the better you get. We have failed again and again and again over this last 2.5 years. Every failure you have means you learn something. So, like, fail forward. Move forward.
Well, and I love it because so often we get so much in our heads, as we talked about earlier, especially with people who are looking to launch for the first time. It's like, oh, I got to have everything perfect. It's got to be, absolutely perfect. Conditions have got to be perfect. My audience has got to be a perfect size. I've got to have, everything, nailed down, figured out before I think about moving forward. But the reality is, no, you don't. You're actually going to learn so much more in doing and showing up and serving. Absolutely. And you said, like, multiple times, like, you are continuously asking your members what it is that they want. You're continuously refining the experience, and it's getting better and better in terms of the experience that you're delivering. And then, of course, your marketing is getting better and better and better, because you're learning more about your audience and really what they're thinking, what they're feeling, and how to put that and communicate that in a way that compels them to want to come and join you.
Yeah, it's just been awesome. So I would just say, whatever your idea is, get some concrete ideas, get your plan together, and then talk about it. And say, you guys, Stu will tell you this, I'm thinking about doing this thing. What do you think? You're never going to know if you don't try. I would have never in a million years, if you would have told me even a year ago, if you would have told me last January that I would have $1 million membership this January, I would have laughed and said, okay, because like my growth was really slow. I was like, I added 40 people, I added 80 people, I added 100, it was slow. And then it just like Stu said, that's how it goes. Being an entrepreneur, it's up, down, up, down, up, down, and then it goes up. And that's what happened this year.
Well, I am so stoked for you. And, I wish you could see, people's responses, because they're just gushing about like the growth and the how inspiring the story is. And that's really why I'm just so grateful that you came to share it, because it shows people what's possible. It shows people what's possible after a year, after 2 years, and now coming up on your third year. Just incredible growth. And I can't wait to see what's possible. Because the other thing, there was a message that you sent me that also really rang true. And that was a message that you received from one of your members who was teaching your lessons in, I think it was like an old age home. Am I correct in that? And that was just so meaningful, because that just showed the ripple effect of the work that you're doing. Kind of speak to that a little bit.
Oh gosh. Okay. Now you're going to get me all emotional, because this is so not really about painting. It's about painting, but it's not about painting. It's about, I pick a word of the year, and last year my word was joy. And my purpose last year was to bring joy to as many people as I possibly could through art. And I did that, and I instilled that in my tribe, and oh my gosh, the stories are endless. Like what this has been able to do for people, especially during COVID, how important art is, and that we need it, and that it has helped people with depression. Listen, depression and anxiety has skyrocketed this year because of COVID. This is giving people peace. It's saving them. And that's just the beginning, but it's like helping them. Other women are learning to take their painting online or teaching in small groups, things that are opening back up. It's changing things for their family. The ripple effect is just nonstop. And we have something in our tribe, and it's Tribe Sister Mail. And it's all about spreading the love and joy. And we're in the middle of a challenge inside my tribe. And one of the things they have to do is send 6 of their tribe sisters Happy Mail. And they're creating art and they're putting it in the mail and they're sending it to other sisters all over the world. And it's the coolest thing ever. And it's bringing joy and happiness to everyone. Who doesn't want to get a piece of real mail that's not a bill, that's not an ad, and you open it up and it's a handmade piece of art from someone who's just like you. And they're talking in the group and they've built friendships across all of this. And we do devotionals in there. I mean, it's just this, it's so much more than painting.
I love it, buddy. I love it. Well, congratulations to you, Christy. I know this is really just the beginning. You know, there is so much more that's, going to be coming your way in the upcoming months and years ahead. I'm just so stinking proud of you, as I've said, and I thank you for sharing, because it really does give people, a whole new realm of possibility as they begin thinking about and are in the midst of growing their memberships. Any final words for everybody watching and listening?
Just you got to listen to Stu. Okay. I tell him all the time, I would not be here without Stu. I would not be here without Tribe. But you can't just take Tribe. You have to implement Tribe. You have to do what he says. You do what he says and it works, and you keep doing it and you keep working at it and you keep making the mistakes. But this man is so wise. Okay. I know I'm going to embarrass you now. Stu is so freaking wise and so smart. And I owe you a lot for helping me get to where I am and for changing our lives and those that I get to impact as well. And I would not be here without you and what you've taught us.
Well, you owe me nothing. Thank you for that, but you owe me nothing. You've done it yourself, and I'm thrilled to have played a small part in getting the ball moving. But I'm just so pumped for you, buddy. And I love your updates. I love your updates, and I can't wait for more updates. But thank you so much for swinging by and sharing the story, Christy.
Yes, thank you for having me.
All right.
Bye.
See you, gang.